There's a podcast we've been listening to, Hardly Initiated. We started off this podcast because of D1.
Yeah.
He was on there when he was talking about, what is it like to, look for a single woman, single man, a guy, whatever. Single man, so whatever. And you raised a good question. Are these podcasts helping Christian singles?
Yeah.
Right? And then are they helping married Christians as well, because this podcast and a lot of others like it are bringing on either experienced couples, or dating couples, or they're just having like influencers. They're having experts on the topic come on these shows, and so it's interesting because one of the things I noticed about one of the shows I watched with the Hardly Initiated podcast was they had these guys on there who were pastors. One was Tim Ross.
Yeah.
And the other pastor, it escapes me. But they've had a lot of men of God on there.
Yeah.
And one of the things I haven't heard, and maybe it's because I haven't just seen them all, but the ones I've listened to, one of the things I haven't heard is the conversation on whether or not these men of God are steering them in the right direction of purity, of becoming a godly man. Because I have heard both the hosts on this particular podcast allude to being Christians, or at least knowing God.
You.
So, have you heard any of those podcasts?
I see so many relationship podcasts that's like, if I was single right now, I'd be like, God, where am I? Like, who? These joints here is like really bad. I just feel like that the podcast field, that everybody don't deserve to have a podcast. Honestly, I feel like certain people with the podcast game is like, it's beneficial to some people, but it's hurting a lot more other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think we have to ask that question, like, what is this podcast? I think if you're watching a podcast like that, you have to ask that question. What is this podcast for? What is it trying to do? Is it trying to bring like division? Is it trying to bring, because I found some people, like I would say, for example, like Ezekiel and Preston Perry. If you know them from PIA, they got a thing that they've been doing where they've been talking to singles as Christian men, talking to single women and single men, and they've been doing a good job. So I like what they've been doing because of course I'm a believer and I like where they're coming from. Yeah, but when you go into the world, it's just superficial, man. It's very, very superficial. And like, I've been seeing what you're talking about, but it's very superficial. Like I'm now, like we talked about it recently about shorts. Yeah. Like I constantly just do shorts now. Shorts too. And I bump into stuff and I'm like, ooh, that's bad information. But then in my mind, I'm like, well, this is coming from people who ain't saved or people who don't have a relationship with God. So of course it's superficial. Of course the guys are looking to conquer women. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to still have that player mentality or not being honest with women. And then you have the women like, yo, you're not good enough. You're not good enough for me. You're not on my level. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so crazy that those things are popular in the culture, and it's just like, it's really hurting people who really have the desire to be a husband or desire to be a wife, you know? Yeah.
My wife and I were listening to one when we were headed to the Holy Summit last week. And one of the things that I gathered they were trying to say about Christian men is that we're all yes men, right? They're like, oh, you'll translate. And I wonder how much of this is true for some people. You'll translate how you feel about Christ to everything in your life to the point where you'll say yes to anything, or you'll give in to what a woman wants you to do versus what you really want to do or what you really want to say. And it's interesting because, man, there was one specific example they gave, and I was like, whoa, that shocked me, right? Because I'm going to ask you this question, and then I'm going to give you the answer that they gave as far as the response, right? So a guy is going on a date with a woman for the first time. Yeah. And she texts him at the about 30 minutes out and was like, hey, I want to change the restaurant. I feel like eating here instead.
Yeah.
Right? If Maya had texted you 30 minutes out on y'all's first date, and let's just say y'all are blind at this point. I know y'all knew each other from the church beforehand, so it was more of a friendship than turned into relationship. But let's just say you and Maya were going out on a blind date.
Yeah.
And she texts you that 30 minutes early. What is your response? Are you gonna go to the new restaurant? Or are you gonna tell Maya that no, we made plans to be at this restaurant, especially if you're sitting in the parking lot?
I'm cheap, so I'm cheap. So I would go like, okay, wait a minute. Are we in this time, or are we in the time? Like, are we like in pre-internet time, or are we like in like time, or like we get internet on our phones, or
yeah, let's just
like
go.
We're right now.
Yeah, we're
okay.
right now.
Right now. I would go look and see like, yo, what is like the pricing of everything, right?
Yeah.
And I would look and see if I could afford it. I would be like, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, like this is kind of out of my budget, to be honest with you. But the other restaurant was in my budget.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I would be honest. You know what I mean? Now if she like, well, we can't go because I like that restaurant, then I would be like, well, okay. I may have to catch you on another time.
So the purpose of this conversation sailed over my head like it sailed over your head, like it sailed over Sean's head, because I asked him the same question, right? And so the issue was the woman was testing him to see how manly he was as to whether or not he was going to hold his ground and say, no, we made plans to meet at this restaurant. Yeah. That's where we're going to eat. I'll see you in 30 minutes.
But why has that got to be a game, though?
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Because then he was like, because the first conversation, the comment was, oh, yeah, he messed up.
But my thing is,
he wasn't a real man in that situation.
But, okay.
And I'm like, what?
Okay, but you don't understand. Here's the thing. Yeah. I think we don't know what, quote unquote, today's society don't know what situations are. You know what I'm saying? Like you automatically think like this is what you're supposed to do. Because I mean, in essence, I could be that way, but then I could have been a jerk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you are a jerk in that situation if you text her back and say, no, this was where we're gonna meet. I mean, the only thing I can see you saying that is your response being, well, I've been in the parking lot because I just wanted to get here a little early. Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah.
So, because he said that he was like, okay, well, and they made it sound real bad. He was like, okay, well, text me the new address and I'll see you there. And she was like, strike number one against him.
But why?
Huh?
Because he just went along with what she said?
Because he just went along with what she said.
Well, maybe what if he likes her?
He never knew. He never met her.
No, what I'm saying is, what if on a blind date, like, it's really getting desperate out here, right? Like, you're seeing people not, like, doing stuff now. They, like, I've seen a video of a guy crying because he got stood up on a blind date. So now, I mean, stuff like that, dudes could be like easily like, "Yo, okay, I'll do it." You know what I'm saying? So because you don't know how to do it.
It makes sense to me. But what they were basically saying was that the girl saw him as soft because he didn't stand his ground.
These new young ladies are interesting because it's like
it is. Why would you put somebody to a test like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would you put somebody to a test like that? So it made me.
Would you put a test to a woman like that? Like, would you have said a woman like call her like, "Hey, listen, I'm XYZ, and I want to take you here, but I can't," just to see if she'll go there.
No. Because first of all, in my mind, I'm not petty, so I'm not trying to be that person. Period. Like in my mind, I'm like, that's a game. I don't like playing games. That's for people who enjoy drama.
Yeah,
I don't like drama.
Yeah.
So.
But and I wish we had somebody here that could speak for women and ask that question, because I'm like, why do you want to test the man? Why do you want to show games to the man? If I treat you well, you know what I'm saying, and you feel great in my safety, you feel great in my space, like you feel protected, you feel provided for, because in a date, I'm still going and I'm still paying for everything. Yeah, like, are you like you still want to test me to see? That it's just crazy. Or here's the thing: if you think that if you got to test a man, then that means you don't need to be going out with that man. In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think it's a couple of things, right? I think one, in this day and age, singles are the time frame for singles are it's later in life, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like you're getting a glimpse at how long you might be single if you play these types of games.
You think so?
I think so. I think if you play these types of games,
because everybody playing games now, bro. Like men are playing games too.
Yeah, but to me it says you're not ready for marriage. So maybe marriage isn't the goal. But then this is where it gets tricky, right? If you're on a podcast and somebody says marriage isn't the goal, but you're a Christian, then now you're talking about a whole different conversation.
Well, that's a lot of Christians today. A lot of Christian, I ain't gonna say a lot. I'll say a few single Christian are like, I just want to see what's out there. I'm just having fun, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you just want to see what's out there? Like, you don't really, like, want to find somebody so you can spend the rest of your life with that person?
I heard a Christian couple earlier this week on a podcast say, and the Christian wife said that if a man doesn't find a woman, he can't find his purpose in God.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
And the reason she said that, now she brought up a good analogy. She said, how was a man brought into the world? Through a woman, right? And she was like, if he's going to be anything in life that he needs to be fulfilling the will of God, he may need a helpmate to help him get to that point.
He may need a helpmate, but
right.
But that doesn't mean that you don't know your purpose in life, because God can reveal your purpose to you. Mm-hmm. It just the thing is, the helpmate, your spouse is supposed to, you and your spouse supposed to help each other.
Now she didn't say he won't find. She said he may not find.
Oh, he may not. Okay,
he may not.
The way you sounded like he won't find his purpose.
He may not find his purpose in life, right? And so,
but see, stuff like that. I ain't gonna say. Sometimes stuff like that makes it feels like a man ain't nothing without a woman.
No, I don't think that's what she was alluding to.
No, but when I'm saying that kind of conversation makes it sound like that. Like, yo, you without a woman, a man can't do nothing in his life.
It could,
and I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. But now she was saying that a lot of times you see women in a relationship empowering a man's dream, helping him understand helping him pull that out, like nurturing that dream.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's vice versa though.
It is,
because I feel like as much as my wife is doing some amazing things, she runs stuff by me, and we talk and we have good conversation, and when she feels doubt, when she feels certain things, I'm there like to be like, to encourage her, to speak into her, you know what I'm saying? And letting her know that you can do this. Like this is not a problem. Like this is something like God put on your heart to do. You can do it.
For us, that's never really been a question about for our wives, because we were doing Trackstarz before we met them. Yeah. And we continue to aspire to other things with their help and their blessing. And then we see them starting their own. Yeah. You know, and encouraging them to go all the way with becoming Eva. And so for me, I'm a little worried about that narrative, because I feel like it's hard to talk about anything else with a Christian single if they don't aspire to be married, because then you kind of got to stay away from their whole, what does your relationship look like? Because you got to remain in purity.
But here's the thing, though. I'm going to push back on that, because when you talk about, I mean, there's biblical scripture talking about Christian singles not getting married. Yeah. They don't have a desire to get married.
For the ones that do, though.
Yeah. But I think we paint in a church Christian singles like, you got to get married, you got to get married. Mm-hmm. And for some, that's not burning with lust or burning or like, yo, I got to get something, or I need to get, it's better to marry than burn. Right. For those who are not like that, for those who can control themselves and like, yo, I have a purpose and I know what I'm called to do right now. I know what God's given me, the vision, the purpose, everything. Mm-hmm. I need to be about my Father's business.
The question, so that's what is the percentage of that what is that percentage you think?
Of that single?
Yes. That are out there. I'm thinking it's under 10%.
No.
I'm thinking it's under 10%.
No way.
The reason I say that.
No way.
The reason I say that is because if any of those singles are involved in any type of relationship, then you gotta have the question: is it better to marry than to burn, right? Then you get to a sticky point because you're like, this doesn't apply to you if you're a Christian and you're out there doing the do.
Yeah, but I think what we've done, what Christian married people have done, is we rub their face in it. Like, we married. Like, I remember years ago.
Hope we don't do that to our team.
No, I don't think we do. But I remember years ago being at church and just the married people bragging like, yeah, I get to go home and do what I need to do tonight.
Hey, it is.
You know what I mean? And you like at home like, dang, they getting to do what they get to do.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Whenever you have a Christian married friend or single friend, that's always going to be the reality of one or the other.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think it was so. Marriage was so the key versus like just pleasing God.
Yeah, because you had a lot of people out there that didn't want to burn. I'm serious. Like that was a real thing. That was a real thing. I can't remember being in my 20s and thinking, yeah, I'm probably thinking I won't get married so that I'll.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you in your 20s got like, yo, I am on purpose. I'm at a job that I love. I got a chance to do a radio show the way I wanted to do it at Praise, and I'm single, and I enjoy doing this. I'm thriving in this. I know what I'm called to do. God has given me he showed me, like you told me this years ago about radio.
Yeah.
He showed you everything.
Yeah.
And you're doing it like right now.
Yeah.
How would you be like still interested in getting married, or would you be like?
Yeah, I would be, because I think about the attention that brings.
So okay. So that's the question is, can you be in your purpose and have self-control?
Do you remember? Oh man, you remember that?
That's a good question.
Do you remember when I was? I hate saying.
Can you be in your purpose and have, Jerry? Can you think you could be in your purpose and have self-control?
I don't think so.
As a Christian single.
Not as a single. No, I don't think so.
So you don't think you can be in your purpose? You do not think you could be in your purpose, and like you're focused on the task God put at hand, but you think you gonna always look to the left and be like, dang, she fine.
You are.
But this would be a question like, have I ever experienced it before? If I experienced it before, then it becomes something completely different, because that's all your mind is going to be thinking of.
Yeah.
Is thinking of that.
Right.
So my thing is this, right? So remember when I was in Atlanta and I was working at the radio station?
Yeah.
And they came up with this whole, let's showcase Atlanta's most eligible Christian bachelor.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Praise did this?
Yeah, they did it.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
And they were like, we need a spokesperson for the radio station. Who can we get? And somebody came to my desk and was like, come on, we need you on the radio. And I was like, what's up? And they were like, you're going to be
How many times they've done that before? Like, just grab people from inside to talk? Oh, wow.
I mean, I used to do drops on the radio. They're like, hey, I need you to voice this track real quick. You know? And so they were like, we need you to be the station's eligible most Christian bachelor.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay.
What year was this?
2007 or 8.
So was you like on videos, flyers, like
I was
drops on the radio?
It was an event, right?
Wow.
So they used me to bring people out to the event.
Yeah.
So they were like,
so women were coming in like, where's the
so first of all, they set up a website. Yeah. They set up a website. Yeah. They made a profile for me.
Yeah.
Right? They put my picture up on the website.
Yeah.
And then they put me on the radio. And so Praise 97.5 in Atlanta was the top gospel station in the country at the time.
And it probably still is.
It probably still is.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about over 250,000 people listening to that interview. And the phone lines lit up with young ladies calling. My profile views hit 200 in the first hour.
Wow.
And then I went to an event that had hundreds of people, and they put me on stage and they had me do the dating game.
Wow.
And I had my best friend was in the audience, Wesley. He was, I couldn't see the girl.
Oh,
so my back was turned. And he's pointing out like, not that one. that ain't your type. That ain't your type. And so I say that because as they showcased me as Atlanta's, whatever the profile was, Yes, I was in my desire at that time. I was living my dream. I was doing radio on a large scale.
Yeah, but like you weren't doing this. You was doing more behind the scenes.
I was sales and marketing.
What I'm saying to you is, if you're doing your purpose, because I think sometimes I'm not saying if you're doing your purpose, you can't. I think some people, some singles can do their purpose and be like, okay, I do need a wife. I can't do this by myself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I'm saying there's some singles that's saying if you drop them in their purpose, they're gonna have the self-control to be like that focused until God reveal that person to them.
They may have self-control for a moment, but there's a door of sin that could be not even lust, not even sex, but pride.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And so you may need a woman to bring you down a peg. To make sure you understand. Like, okay,
so women bring humility.
Yeah. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
I think they.
I think men bring humility too.
Yeah, not so much as a woman. As a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could be really feeling yourself. Yeah. And then they come in and be like, you do know you still put your pants on one leg at a time.
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I think the church, we've done single people wrong over the years, and still probably am, because we don't focus on their calling, what God put inside of them to do if it's not inside their church. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like, keep going in your church, keep serving, keep doing this, keep doing that. And it's like, if you take them outside of their church, and then I would say this, I think the good thing about church, though, it does help you find what you're called to do. It does help you, if you get in the right ministries, it can help you cultivate stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think sometimes it goes from like serving in ministry, then finding a spouse.
That's conviction, though, because I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times the church has called me to ask me to do something that I never prayed about, and I just did it because I said yes.
And you're single, and when you were single?
No, now.
Man, we talking about single.
No, I'm just giving you the example. Like, you can serve in ministry, and it might not have anything to do with your purpose, but because if the pastor calls you, you feel obligated
to go out
and serve.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you're the person that has the talent that can do it, so they're like, hey, can you do this, right? Yeah. And you didn't pray about it. God didn't say go in to this ministry and serve here, right? And then a lot of times when we were single, we did it because we knew there were young ladies there we could meet. And
you did that.
No, it's vice versa. It's vice versa, right? And so a lot of people will serve. Like, we tell a lot of singles, get involved in your church.
Yeah, that is true.
Because you might meet somebody while you're serving.
But here's the thing, though. Even when you're serving, you still have to be mindful that you're there for that reason.
I laid eyes on my wife for the very first time when I was serving.
I'm glad you brought that back.
Yeah, because I was serving in youth ministry.
Yeah,
and she walked in with some other youth. Right, they weren't a part of the event. They were just coming to view it because they were the pastor's kids.
Yeah,
and so I just was like asking a friend, like, who's that?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's such and such X. And I'm like, oh, X? You sure X? Cool. Burned in the back of the brain. X. Okay, cool. And so, like I'm saying, like, I never would have met my wife or known who she was until, years later. Yeah. If I hadn't seen her and asked who she was. Because, and God had me serving.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really serving. I wasn't really serving against my will. It was because I was single, and Thursday nights there was nothing else to do. I went to church every Thursday, so when they were like, "You're here, you might as well serve." But I also felt called to youth. I felt like God called me to the youth.
I think that was happening with me too. I was serving at my local church. And met I've known mine for years, but like serving and we were serving together in certain capacity. So that happens. I mean do you trust church? Like, do you trust finding somebody in a church now? Because you're hearing bad stories about things, and
I think the church is on fire with a sin problem and a lust problem and all this other kind of stuff. I think so.
So you should say, man, I'm lusting, she lusting, let's just lust together.
Nah, I think you got to get married. Careful. I think you got to be careful. I think church, man, I'll say when I was a single man in the church, I wasn't out there looking to do dirt.
Gotcha.
I wasn't looking to do girls dirty. I wasn't looking to do the Lord dirty. Like I was like focused. Like,
but you was an inspector dater.
That's different. But
he didn't care about his reputation, y'all. He wasn't trying to do the women dirty, but he didn't care about his reputation.
You don't understand you don't understand what inspector dating was. I've only dated 2 people at my church.
Gotcha.
I've been at my church for 25 years.
Yeah.
2 people.
Yeah, that's true.
25 years.
Yeah.
3. Okay, 3.
Dang, the number still comes
I just thought about something. Yeah. But
get him, Holy Spirit. Let the truth come out of him.
In 25 years, no one was like, that's a dog, stay away from him.
Oh, wow.
No one was like, that's a wolf in sheep's clothing, stay away from him. Because that wasn't what I was about.
Yeah.
So I was there for the right reasons. I was there raising my hands and praise and worship because I loved the Lord.
Yeah.
I was serving God. I just happened to be fellowshipping, and I met people along the way.
Do you think you could have met Toya somewhere outside of church? Because that's the new thing now. Is like singles saying like we don't need church to find. As a Christian, I don't need church to find somebody.
No, and I'll say
find
this.
a spouse.
No, because I told you my confidence was shook long time ago when I was like, on like getting numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Until I got the wrong number one day, and I was like, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy I thought I was. So no, I never would have approached my wife in public. It had to be in a situation where we were either forced to talk or it was convenient for us to talk.
Do you think you can find if you were single? Do you think you could find a woman outside of the church? Do you think it'd be helpful to find a woman outside the church? As a Christian man. No, because all the young ladies that I met through the radio station and through other outside situations, their lifestyles did not live up to what I was looking for. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like my wife and I, we sat under the same headship.
Yeah.
I was there when I was 17.
Yeah.
My wife got there when she came to college.
Gotcha.
She came to Atlanta for college. So for me, it's like I was submitted to the preaching of the word.
Yeah.
The way it was taught to me.
Yeah.
She was too.
Gotcha.
So when the conversation of being a Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah.
I had the same idea and example in my head that she had in her head.
Wow.
So it was easy for us to link that.
Yeah.
I told you, I mean, y'all heard me tell this story before. I knew she was my wife the first day. First conversation was 8 hours on the phone.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? We talked about everything. I knew she was my wife that day.
Wow.
And so 2 weeks later, my dad confirmed it. Was like, yo, that's the one you're going to marry. So when you get in the ring? And I'm like, oh, well, pockets is a little thin, but as soon as taxes come in, I got you.
Taxes rings.
I got you.
So here's a question. Another question real quick.
Yeah.
So do you think a Christian man can find somebody that goes to a different church?
Yeah, you can.
No, but what I'm saying, do you think that's good to do that? Like.
No, you know what? I've had too many friends tell me that they got into a whose church are we gonna go to situation when they were dating. You know what I mean?
And it didn't turn out good.
They had to split off together. Like the only compromise was we're not going to either church. We're going to find our own.
Oh wow!
And I wouldn't have been comfortable with that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been comfortable.
You put 25 years in.
Well, I mean, at that point, I was only maybe like 15 years in.
Yeah.
Because because like I said, I've been there for 25 years.
Gotcha.
So for me to have been like, oh, I met this girl that goes to Destiny, and she wants me to go to Destiny now, that would have been probably a little different because y'all went to Destiny.
Yeah,
so I would have been like, well, I know somebody there. I can get involved there.
Yeah.
But if I met somebody that was going to World Changers, I'd be like, nah.
Dang! Wow.
First of all, World Changers is 3 times the size of my church.
Oh, I see
right?
what you're saying.
So when I started at my church, we're a mega church now, 40,000 plus. But when I started there, it was 3,000. I was one of the 3,000.
Oh,
one of the early 3.
At Word of Faith.
At Word of Faith.
Wow.
So to be there and to I know the leadership. The leadership knows me. The leadership was at my wedding. The leadership helped plan my wedding. The leadership has been there for every single one of my children's baby dedications.
So you couldn't give that up. You couldn't give up single Ryan single Ryan that got what's your membership number?
Ooh, my membership
30?
Nah. I was I'm probably
1,151.
So I was attending when it was 3,000. I didn't join to probably around 3,000-4,000, something like that.
Got you.
So yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to. You in your mind, you're like, I can't give that up because I'm part of the culture here. I help cultivate the culture here.
Yes.
And I wouldn't want to leave my church for somebody else's church because that's just.
It's the same reason why I would never leave Atlanta.
Got you.
Because I feel planted here.
Got you.
I laid down. I was born here.
Got you.
Raised here, and I was able to make Atlanta work for me.
Yeah.
Like I was able to get to the #1 radio platform in the city for hip hop. I was able to meet you and Sean doing this and start Trackstarz and put a studio in Atlanta to where it's like, okay, we're going to always probably be in Atlanta or always be in the same city unless we all decide one day, hey, the Lord told all three of us to go to LA or somewhere crazy. That happened. But we're always going to be here because our ministry is tied here. Our roots are here.
Yeah.
My family is here. So for me, it's like, the church was the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I served in that youth ministry and then the second youth ministry and then the third youth ministry pastor. Like I served under all those pastors, and those are the people that I know I can pick up the phone and call and get good godly wisdom from.
Yeah.
You know? So that's
and I think that's what Christians singles need.
Yeah.
They need good coverings. Yeah. And then they also need to know that one, God sees you and he has a purpose for your life and he has somebody for you.
Yeah.
And I really believe, and then Sean says this all the time, that when you in your purpose, he's going to bring that person for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really believe that. And I don't think you have to maneuver yourself and do everything, but I really believe, and I think that's why when you said that going back earlier about without your purpose, I was like, because I feel like there's so many men that, you know, they may think what they got going on is like their purpose, but once they get submitted, and that's another thing too, talking about submitting to authority, submitting to people in your life that could speak in your life, like, yo, you thinking you supposed to be such and such, but I see that God's called you to be like working with young people. God's called you to work with young adults. You know what I mean? I see that, bro. Like you need to do that, bro. You know what I mean? And sometimes you need that mentorship and stuff like that, godly mentorship to give you that. Yeah. And I feel like you know what I mean, church. I feel like church can offer that. And I think the disservice, a good church offers that. I say a bad church would just continue to make you like serve all the time, and you don't know what your purpose is. You don't know what you're supposed to do in life. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I will say this is the #1 advice I have to Christian singles. You will never be prepared for marriage. You can plan for it. Yeah. You can prepare for it. Yeah. But you will never be prepared for marriage. And that's what I think the biggest problem is. Yeah. When I listen to these podcasts, they're like, what's the secret to marriage? What's the key to marriage? How do I prepare? How do I get that? You're not. Yeah. Death. Because you're gonna. Death is the key to marriage. Dying to yourself. No, I'm serious. No. I'm serious, because I think what people don't tell you is when you get into marriage, it's about like making sure you and your wife bring the best version of each other, right? Yeah. So what that means is I'm going to have to die to some stuff that I think. Yeah. It better for me versus better for us. Yeah. Yeah. I would say, vice versa. Yeah. I would say what you're saying is 100% true because I think about that whenever I was making pancakes this morning, right? Yeah. And I'm counting the number of pancakes and I know we have to be somewhere. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't have enough time to make everybody in this house pancakes. So I didn't eat. Oh, wow. Because I was like, okay, once we hit 9:05, if they're not sitting down eating, we're going to be late. You take a piece off? I didn't even take a piece off. You didn't take a piece off. But it was because in my mind, in my mind, I was working through my sacrifices. Yeah. That's why you was killing that Miss Winters when you got here. I was killing the Miss Winters. I was killing it. But in my mind, I had to work through that sacrifice. Like, I got to still get my son up. Yeah. I still got to change him. I got to be prepared for my son. He's potty training right now. Gotcha. So I got to be prepared to know that if he made a mistake in the bed, then we got to stop and give him a bath. Oh, wow. And that's an extra 15 minutes on the preparation. Yeah. So if I've got breakfast going, you don't get no wipes and just you good. Sometimes. But what I'm saying is like, and you're right, like that's #1 because I think the biggest. This is gonna sound bad, and I'm probably have to cut the mic at this point. Come on, Ryan. I think the biggest issue with Christians that are looking to get married is they're overthinking it. They're overthinking it. And I will say this, I can't tell you how many hours, days, and months and years I wish I had back in my singleness for the time that I was worried about getting married.
Gotcha.
And if it was going to happen. And when it was going to happen. And who it was going to be. Because it robs you of time with God when you need it the most. Right? Like this is when God is cultivating you. This is when God is molding you. This is when God is taking things out and putting things in. And you're sitting there, worried about whether or not you go to this destination show if she's going to be there. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that to me is the biggest issue. But then I will say this, and I know y'all are going to hate me for this, and this probably might go viral if y'all start cutting clips up and sending this out. But you can't wait to find a man or a woman when they're at their best.
Say that again?
You can't wait to find a man or woman when they're at their best, or take a man or woman when they're at their best, because life is going to happen to you both. And there's good and there's bad. And you got to be ready to go with it. Since I've been married, I've been laid off 3 different times. Because I've been in tech space, I've been in the nonprofit space, and I've been in the receiving end of every recession. But I've been laid off 4 times. It was different when I first got laid off and I was single to when getting laid off now, having a wife and 4 kids. And so you're going to go through probably when you feel your worst. And you're going to need that person to be there to help bring you up to where God wants you to be. And so the issue is, if you're waiting on his credit score to get to 830, it may remain at 700 until you get involved. You see what I'm saying? And then you help him manage finances, figure out how to do this, how to get zero financing for the business loan. Like you've got to work with people where they are. And I think that one of the problems I saw with Kevin Samuels was he was kind of telling people you need a high value man, high value woman, and you got to find that person. You know what I'm saying? When that person is in the making the entire time through.
Man, this was
the conversation.
This was Christian Single Men of Trackstarz, the NPR edition. A lot of
Sean.
a lot of. We're not going to tell you what happened, but this actually turned out good.
It did. It did.
I quarterbacked this thing very well.
You did. I feel like I'm.
And I didn't do it on purpose, but I was like, I could pull this up. I'm good. I'm good at pulling out stuff from people. Pause. But I think this turned out very well.
It did.
This may be the new thing for us. How do you feel?
I told you guys. Like I think I told you all on last week's call that this needs to be what we transition to.
Wow.
But I think it needs to be the 6 of us.
All our wives.
Yes, I do.
We gotta get,
because here's the thing.
Sean, you gotta talk to Alfie. Alfie is like, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing I'm noticing. I'm noticing that on these Christian podcasts, people are being very
but then also I don't want us to get mad at our spouses.
No, you got to have that conversation beforehand, and the Lord has to also bless this situation.
I'm talking about when you get home, because when you get home, like when you get home today, it's Toy gonna be like, oh, so Mr. 106 and Mr. 107 9, talk to me. What you talking about?
No, honestly,
those 3 girls.
Honestly, she knows them, so it's not a big deal. But no, honestly, I don't think so. I think when you, because I mean, my wife and your wife say stuff on Becoming Evil all the time.
Yeah, shout out to Becoming Evil.
Yeah, well, we're sitting in the audience and sitting in the comments like, real talk. Yeah, okay.
But it's different when we say it.
Right.
It's a little different. You do get that. So, what were you talking about on the show today? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a difference than.
I get that from my wife when Sean's like, yeah, Ryan, you remember you was the one that did. What? Yeah. So I get that from my wife when she feels like I had a conversation that she wasn't aware of. Like, when did that happen?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But no, honestly, I don't think it'll be bad at all. I think what these podcasts are lacking the most is the real raw reality of what's happened. I feel like
That's Thunder in Paradise.
I feel like a lot of these podcasts are coming from the intellectual. This is written by an author. This was a quote that I heard. I feel like this is real marriage. This is what we dealt with. Yeah. This is how it goes and what you say and what you don't say.
Well, honestly, what we could do is just talk to men. Talk to single Christian men.
I want to do that. I want to do that.
We're Christian. We were once Christian.
Let me tell you what's happening with Christian men, though. Christian single men.
Oh, whack. That's what you're saying?
No, they're wilding out.
Whack.
They're wilding out.
Whack. That's whack.
They're whack too. But
whack.
I'm saying, but when you say something from a godly standpoint, they're like.
Well, it depends on how you come in. And me and Mike had a conversation about this. I was telling her about how sometimes the reason why Kevin Samuels, Red Pill, Blue, why these people are so successful at what they're doing is because they're giving men, some that's Christian, some are not. Yeah. They're giving them that confidence while the world and the entertainment is kicking them down. You get what I'm saying? While I don't say feminism, but just while women having that power to say, quote a Cardi B song, if you broke, you can't get nothing from me type mentality. Yeah. And it's like quality good men like, yo, I'm a good dude. I may not be where you want, but I can pray you through some stuff. I can help you, encourage you. I can blah blah blah. I may not financially be on your level, but I can do that. And I think me, you, and Sean can help Christian men become better men of God.
Yeah. And I think, too, the big issue is people are afraid to get out there. You know what I mean? Like, say God sends you the right person, right? I listened to a podcast.
Ryan, God is trying to end this.
Say God sends you the right person, right? There was a married couple, Christian married couple, and they were like, when is the right time to get married? And they were like, maybe you've dated 1 to 3 years. Yeah. And I don't believe that.
Oh, wow.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
What that person's going to do or say, like I said, if God has confirmed it, you just got to go with it.
Yeah.
You just got to go with it. I had never had a relationship before I met my wife. Maybe that was the thing that launched me forward, was knowing that.
You just had dates.
Huh?
You just had dates. Gotcha.
But maybe the thing that launched me forward, that told me I'm ready to live with somebody, I'm ready to commit to one person, I'm ready to whatever, was the one thing that everybody else was afraid of.
Yeah.
The bad experience that you've had with somebody else.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just jumped in like, oh, if this is going to go sour, it's going to go sour with me all the way in.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just went for it. And I feel like a lot of people are like, let me go through the seasons. Let me see them do this. Let me see them do that. Let me let them meet, blah, blah, blah. I proposed to my wife before ever meeting my in-laws.
Yeah.
I talked to her father first, but I'm saying like it was easy because it was like, I met your daughter 3 months ago.
Yeah, but I would say this. I do believe in the seasons thing because you should see somebody in different seasons of their life, not long. I think that was one of my biggest regrets, waiting so long to pop the question in my. But I think at the same time, you need to see people in their valley high. I mean, the mountain high, valley low.
I agree, but seasons. When people use seasons, they're talking about seasons of the year. I'm talking about seasons of life, and that can all happen in 2 weeks.
That can.
A person could lose their job. A person could go on a mental breakdown. A person could go through depression. Yeah. That could all happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So then, have you watched?
Now it can happen in a day.
Yeah. So
you got that Job experience at 9 to 5. You be like, dang, I lost my job at 9. I lost this, and then at 5, you like depressed. Like,
yeah, we're gonna have to use this as a Patreon podcast, because Sean gonna be like, y'all talk for 45 minutes.
I know. I'm trying to end this. This is ending it. This is why I know this would be good, because Ryan, before we started this, quick insider. Yeah. Ryan was like, Jeremiah, I can't talk for no 30 minutes about this. And I was like, okay.
It's been 45.
Yeah. So we love you guys. Yeah. Thank you for it. I promise a dope line for line next week. We probably do the Andre 3000 versus Nell Grant, formerly with Toby Nwigwe. Dope. This is a dope battle, man, and stuff like that. But we love you guys. Yeah. We will see you guys next week. Same Same Trackstarz time, same Trackstarz channel.
All right, you're in the field with the Trackstarz. Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Lego.
Deuces.